There are fewer things in this world that I hate than being ripped off. By me being ripped off, by you being ripped off, by anybody. It annoys the hell out of me. So I've decided to do this series on scams that are so normalised that sometimes we don't even know it. Even if it gives you a little bit of a heads up, a little bit of an insight, or a little bit more thought next time something happens, if it means that one person from this video will save some money and not get caught out by some of these scams, and also help me to alleviate some of my annoyance, then I have done my job and it makes me very happy. So I'm going to do 5 scams that we're so used to coming across every single day that you don't even realise you're paying for things you don't even need to pay for. In some cases, you do actually need to pay for certain things. There are some fees that non-negotiable, yeah, they're accepted. It's because of one thing or another. But actually, the ones that I'm going to be looking at as well are not just the actual fee itself, but the amount of that fee. So it's not proportionate in terms of what you're receiving back. And if we were breaking it down exactly how much you're paying, I think some of you might cry. So let's get stuck in to my 5 scams that are so normalised that we don't even know it. Number 1, this one really irks me because I've just had it happen to somebody I know. So basically, companies have this way of catching you out. So you start off a free trial of something, and if you haven't cancelled within a set amount of time, you forget. We get busy. We don't even realise we've done it sometimes. I'm not even aware that actually at the end of the free trial, you're automatically enrolled and then sent a nice big bill for something that you didn't really want because you never really got to use it in the free trial anyway. And you just set up to just pay it. And companies are allowed to do this. And this has then piggybacked, which I experienced recently myself, and it annoyed the hell out of me. So I had a subscription for something, I paid in advance. At the end of the 12 months, I paid it up for 12 months, right from the beginning. At the end of the 12 months, I thought, I don't want this anymore. I'm not gonna renew it. I'm not gonna, send them any more money. I'm not gonna do anything, whatever. I'm just gonna leave it. And they send me loads of emails all the time. They spam you, they send you junk, and that's another reason, by the way. They send you so much rubbish, and you just like, flick it, ignore it, whatever. And sometimes, you're going through emails, you open them, read them, don't even read them, just delete them, whatever. And the next thing I know, this company has taken a hell of a load of money out of my bank account that I was either not expecting nor did I want, and they have automatically renewed this particular product. When I rang them up to complain and go, look, you took all my money, thanks very much, give it me back, I never said you could have it. They very kindly said, well, actually, we sent you an email, you opened it and you read it. Therefore, that is a commitment to having agreed to subscribe again. I'm like, sorry? How do they know, A, that it's been read, B, that it was me that opened and read it? Yeah, it's gone to my personal emails. And when I've looked through it, gone into my spam, it was one of those, I must have just clicked it along with all the other junk that they sent me and just not thought anything further of it. It took a few tearful phone calls, a few bits of arguing, a few bits of explaining that actually you're taking money from my children's mouths. I had to go and play the whole emotion card to get my money back because they weren't prepared to budge. I even suggested that there might be a cooling off period. Usually when somebody buys something, even if I had intentionally bought it, there should be a cooling off period. I then suggested that I would be speaking to the financial ombudsman, and lo and behold, the money was back in my account the next day. But these people are allowed to do this. I'm like, how is this legal? And this brings me to my next scam, which is overdraft fees. So because of the money coming out of my account, which I wasn't expecting, not only did it take me into my overdraft, it overtook me into my overdraft. So the bit that I agreed with the bank is that I've got a set amount in my overdraft. If I go over it, then I am liable with a big penalty per day. The bank itself allowed for this money to go out. It allowed me to go over my agreed overdraft. There wasn't enough money in my account. When I spoke to the bank, first of all, they said, well, we have a bit of a buffer just in case things do need to come out. But many times in the past, years ago when I didn't have a control of my own financial situation, if I had tried to overspend and go into the unagreed overdraft, my card would have been stopped. That transaction would have been rejected. It wouldn't have been allowed. So then why was this allowed? Why were you forcing me then for something that's non-essential, something that I didn't want? You were forcing me into an overdraft and then exorbitant amount of fees. Not only that, within the same bank, I have got a saving account. So when I save too much money in my cash stuff in envelopes, I put it into a higher interest savings account because it's foolish to leave too much money in my home. It's not sensible. So there was money in there, but rather than saying, hey, I can see you've got several £1,000s in a savings account, but you've just gone over your agreed overdraft in a different account, we're still going to whack some massive fees onto you, even though potentially that money could be moved over. And the amount that they charge for going in your overdraft and then over your agreed overdraft is not relative to what is being used. So even if you went £1 over your overdraft, most banks will charge them like £5 a day, maybe £10 a day. The fact is, if people are going into the overdraft or if they're going into the overdraft, they are not necessarily doing it because they want to. It is because they are struggling. And in this economic crisis right now, people need even more help. They do not need ridiculously compensated fees that just do not make sense. The next thing, Black Friday. The thing that I don't like about Black Friday is that it is quite possible, and unfortunately some companies do this, to put the price of your item up just before the Black Friday sales and then drop it to be able to say, well, it's been decreased by 30% all the way through the rest of the year. This item might have been, say, 80 quid, and then in the run up to Black Friday, push it up to £100, then just as the Black Friday sales launch, drop it down to 70 and claim a 30% discount, which in reality it is not. You're getting a 10 off it any other day. It's like a double-edged sword nowadays that the Black Friday sale is not just on a particular day. We used to see absolute insanity on Black Friday when people were hitting people over the heads in the middle of Asda for a reduced price TV. And because of that, Black Friday sale is now sort of over several weeks or several days as well, which is great, but it just gives more opportunity to consumers and to these companies to then spend money unnecessarily and feel like they've got a bargain. Have they really? It's up to you. If you're going to buy something anyway, and you've already got your eye on it, make sure you're watching it several weeks before you want to make it. This is ideal for big purchases. If you want to buy a big TV, you've been watching it for several months, no doubt, to watch the prices and see how they've changed, then watch it increase or decrease, whatever it is. If, as I say, you're already going to buy it and you feel like you're happy with the price that you're about to pay, then okay, fair enough. But just be aware that some manufacturers and some companies purposely hike the prices to be able to advertise a great deal. And if you're spending money that you wouldn't have spent otherwise, it's not really a deal. Mobile phone contracts drive me insane. I have had this phone, which is very, very broken by the way, for just about 2 years, I think. I've still got another year on my contract. However, in that time, I've had a couple of price increases. I haven't got a different phone. The product that I've got, I haven't changed or moved from. It's the same SIM, it's the same phone number, I'm getting the same amount of data, and yet this company is yearly putting up their prices. They put on a little bit of interest or whatever they want to call it. They call it inflation, happens every April. But then there are other companies that don't do that. So please, let me ask you, if one or two companies can keep their price the same for the exact same product that somebody bought 2 years ago because they're in a contract, why cannot everybody else do that? And when you look at what you're actually getting for your money as well, the numbers that they come up with and the amount of money they get out of you over the time that you might have a phone is astronomical. My best advice would be to, once you've got a phone, then only once the contract is up, keep hold of the same phone. You do not need the latest technology because that's when you're going to see the cost of your bill come down. This piggybacked onto something else is somebody like my mum who has had her mobile phone for about 8 years, maybe 9. We recently went into the mobile phone shop, said, look, we've had this phone forever. Why is she still paying the same amount of money which is paid off the handset? You're not giving her any more. She doesn't actually use data, she just uses Wi-Fi, and if she hasn't got Wi-Fi, she goes without. She's of the generation where she doesn't care. It doesn't matter, it's fine. They instead said, oh well, thanks very much. They didn't give her any money back, which was what I was working for, but they upgraded her handset for free, and she still pays the same amount of money. She's now got a brand new handset. She could have done that years ago, still pay the same amount of money, just had a better handset. So why then are these people not shouting or sending messages and going, look, you could have something else or something better or less money? Why are they not going out of the way to help those people like my mum or my mum's generation who wouldn't necessarily understand this? They are taking advantage, I feel, and that really gets on my nerves. And there we have it, 5 scams that have become so normalised that we just don't even notice them anymore. We just let them get away with it. And I think, for one, it's time it stopped. I can't be the only one that is annoyed about these things. Put your comments below in the section. Let me know what really does get on your nerves. And I'm going to continue with this one because there's quite a few things that really irk me. So stick around, join onto the channel, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, like, and we'll see you really, really soon. Bye.